Family, what's going on? It's Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Today is Saturday, January 3rd. We have 4,500 players that are in the NCAA transfer portal. That number just boggles my mind. It's a number that continues to grow. Yesterday, I think it was 3,700, and today it's 4,500. Does it go up to 5,000? I have no idea. But when you look at that number, it just tells you what is going on in college football and kind of the state of college football altogether. So the transfer portal will close. I believe the date is either January 14th or the 15th after opening on Friday. And Alabama currently has 10 players that have entered the transfer portal. I will inform you on those players. Last night, as you were going to bed, Peter Nataro, a backup kicker here at the University of Alabama, entered the transfer portal, which rounded it out to 10. I think when you look to the players that have entered Alabama from the transfer portal, I don't really see a significant name here that will really impact the team. I mean, of course, all these guys, as they would develop, maybe they get an opportunity. I think maybe like at Jalen Mbakwe, you always kind of wonder, what could have been if he stayed at DB, or how would he develop as a wide receiver? It's something that you're going to think about, right? Noah Carter is another one. You're like, man, I saw good things about Noah Carter. If he was to stay a couple years, how would he be when he takes over maybe for Yanzi Pierre or for Quay Russo? But I think with those guys probably coming back for the 2026 season, he probably wants to go elsewhere. And, we kind of wish these guys well. And other guys like Jalen Hell, you wonder how would Jalen Hell do when, if given an opportunity. But when you look to the players that are coming back for Alabama, it's hard for these players to find the field. And these guys want to play. They're capable to play. I get it. We're in a world where you want to play right now. It's hard to wait. There's money on the table. These guys want to make the money. And sometimes you don't blame them, right? Because like a guy like Richard Young, when was he going to play here as a running back, right? Peter Nataro, okay. Connor Talty starting to do his thing. Jalen Mbakwe, where was he going to see the field? It wasn't. So we wish those guys the best, and we'll continue to update this graphic moving forward. And we are at 10 right now, okay? So Bubba Hampton, Jalen Hell, Jalen Mbakwe, Ionita, Howard, Noah Carter, Olas Allen, and Richard Young, Rock Montgomery, Peter Nataro. Is there any name on the board that you think is like a big loss? Who's the biggest loss right here so far? I mean, there's not a significant name so far, but I think like Noah Carter probably be, if I had to rank them, I'd probably go like either Noah Carter number 1, Jalen Mbakwe number 2, and then maybe Olas Allen or Jalen Hell, but whatever. We wish those guys well, and we'll keep you posted as we continue to move forward. So good morning to everybody. I hope you got an opportunity to listen to Wake Up Bama. And what I'm going to do kind of going forward is I might start blending some of the calls on that back end, because I know you guys want some extra added content to Wake Up Bama. We got the content, so we'll load it up, and appreciate all the feedback inside the comment box. I will take some calls today. And I do want to give you a heads up. If you've called in a couple times, give it a breather today and let some other people call in so we can get some fresh callers. There's a lot of people that want to call in. And even if you're like on the phone line now, I'm going to do an opening segment so you don't have to wait so long on the call-in line. And remember, I pay individually for the call-in line, so your support via Super Chat, you guys becoming fan funders, getting active inside the comment box is greatly appreciated, and I really appreciate you guys being here. I know Alabama tips off at 11 a.m. Central Time against Kentucky in basketball. You look to, I think the biggest loss so far is Noah Carter, just to spotlight him real quick. 6'4", 243 pounds. It's a redshirt freshman. Played that wolf position, very talented defensive player in development, recorded 9 tackles this season. When I saw him on the field, I liked what I saw. A lot of upside at the position, playing behind Yanzi, Quay. Him and Justin Hill probably split time for those type of reps, but I do feel he is a loss in the transfer portal, and we will also, his mom is sometimes active inside the comment box, so we wish them well and their family as they go forward, but whoever gets Noah Carter, I think will be getting a good one. And then also from the wide receiver room, you had to let go of Jalen Mbakwe. I think with Jalen Mbakwe, it didn't make sense probably from a financial standpoint to keep paying a player like Jalen Mbakwe. Look, Jalen Mbakwe is a guy, and I think if he goes anywhere else, as I've been saying, he's probably an impact two-way player. Am I right? Like, I think the guy can play defense, offense, shoot, whatever. But I think when he originally went into the portal, Bama, it seemed to me, made a big offer to keep him. And then when they looked financially and they saw that he's just not going to get on the field, they're like, man, we can't keep paying, this amount for Jalen Mbakwe. So, again, superstar for somewhere else, not here. And then Jalen Hell, unfortunately, guy was just banged up, suffered a crazy injury, and we wish him the best. And I'm just prayers up and prayers really answered as he was able to come back, right? So, Jalen Mbakwe, Jalen Hell from the receiver standpoint. And the reason I lead off with the receivers because when you start to look at the transfer portal targets, all right, you guys are interested in who's coming in. So per your request, I have added the decals of where the particular players are coming from. I thought that was a great idea, so thank you so much. And like I said, I am always open to your feedback, how I could make the show better, and what I could do to keep improving Bama football on YouTube. So thank you so much for all your feedback inside the comment box. So some targets that are right now on the radar. We have 4 of them. I'll walk you through each of these guys. Hollywood Smothers on the far right. He is actually in town this weekend, and he was scheduled to visit Florida State as well. He has canceled that visit to Florida State. So we're going to kind of dive into that running back position because I do have a question for you about running backs specifically. But let's talk about, some of these other guys, and then I have a small feature on Hollywood and Cam Coleman, so I'll come back to those guys. But just real quickly to set the stage, these are the prospects that Alabama is targeting currently in the portal. Got Cam Coleman, right? 6'3", 200 pound receiver that would be a day one impact player. You have Caleb Woodson, who had a really big year at Virginia Tech. He had 57 tackles, 6'3", 230 pounds. You have Devin Tompkins out of USC, 6'5", 285 pounds. He had 31 tackles. And then Hollywood Smothers, who's in town this week. I love the name Hollywood, right? We already have a Hollywood. You imagine if we had 2 Hollywoods here, right? That would be crazy. Is there anywhere else in the country that has 2 players named Hollywood, right? Because you got Hollywood Williams, then you got Hollywood Smothers. That we have 2 Hollywoods. That'd be wild. All right, so let's start out by talking about Hollywood Smothers, who's in town this weekend. And by the way, you like the content, you like the graphics, you like the delivery, you like the consistency and performance. Let me know inside the comment box, hitting the thumbs up. And I appreciate you guys so much for being here every single day right here on Bama Football on YouTube. How much do you want a guy like Hollywood Smothers on a scale of 1 to 10? Go ahead and get active inside the comment box. You think Alabama needs a transfer running back? We kind of played around with this idea, and the more I started looking at the Alabama running backs for 2026, I kind of felt that they needed a running back transfer as well. Now, it's very apparent that you guys are frustrated with the offensive coordinator, that you're very upset with the way that the offensive line played. You're upset with the offensive line coach. So you're like, okay, yeah, we get a running back in here. Are they going to run the ball? Great question. Great question. Because if I'm a running back right here, yeah, Alabama, the brand coming over here, this guy got fed last year. I mean, this guy carried the ball. This guy, I would imagine, Smothers isn't going to come here, and this is going to – look, because who do you want to be the starter next year? Just go ahead and say it. Be honest. Who do you want to be the starter? You want Daniel Hill to start over Xavier Crowell? Or do you want A.K. Deere to start over Crowell? Or do you want Kevin Riley to start over Crowell? Or do you want Smothers? Because Smothers, this guy got absolutely fed. He had 160 carries last year. You think he's coming over here to be the backup? To play a role like Draylen Washington? I don't. I honestly don't. He's coming here, I think, to be the starter. Okay? Yeah. You think he goes from 160 carries last season to what, 40 here at Alabama? I wouldn't. I'm coming over here if I'm a guy like this and I'm trying to play, right? This guy can play. And he is he's a different style of running back. You don't have a running back like this on Alabama. He's fast. He's think of like a. I think he's if anyone that he's similar to, maybe kind of like a blend of AK Deer and Kevin Riley. Yo, the cat's fast. 5'11", 195 pounds, so he's a little bit smaller size. He had 400-yard games. He had 164 yards by himself against Wake Forest, right? We got a super chat in here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks, Bird. And I love that avatar, by the way. Yo, that goes hard in the paint, 100%, right? Elite speed, vision, cutting ability. I mean, you watch this guy's highlight tape, you will want him. I'm telling you, he looks way different than the running backs that we have here, right? Reliable hands. He can also play receiver. I mean, he's not going to play receiver, but he can catch the ball out of the backfield, which is very important in an offense like this. All the checkdowns. Think about how many catches Jam had and Daniel Hill had, and then he'll be a junior in 2026, okay? So Hollywood Smothers, he's in town. I haven't seen that if he's been, like, predicted to commit to Bama, but he did cancel his visit to Florida State, okay? And I see, like, Heather inside the comment box and everybody else is like, fix the offensive line. We don't, you could get a Cam Coleman. You could get a Hollywood Smothers, but if you don't have a line or if you don't have an offensive mind to want to run the ball, then why would you come here as a running back? And I know you're like, man, I want all these nice things. Yeah, me too. But it's got to make sense. And I think for Hollywood or for anybody, let's look at the running back room right now. Now, Jam Miller, right? I've heard kind of conflicting things about him, that he's exhausted his eligibility, and I've also heard that he can come back as a super senior. I think Jam Miller's gone from Bama. I think if anything, he'd be a super senior somewhere else. Okay, so Miller's gone, Richard Young is gone, portal. So you look to these next guys, right? And I have a cleaned up graphic actually. This is the running back room. You like the graphic? Hit the thumbs up. This is the 2026 running back room, and Hollywood Smothers is here this weekend. Okay, so we got Daniel Hill, and I have the production underneath. I'll go full screen so you can see that. Daniel Hill on the left comes back. He'll be a junior. And these are updated graduation years for the 2026 season, by the way. And thank you so much to the super chat, Curtis. Really appreciate it. Thank you, man. Not a lot of production from Daniel Hill. 75 for 284, 6 touchdowns. Got redshirt sophomore, Kevin Riley, 5'11", 191, 59 for 224. You see what I'm saying? Hollywood Smothers had 160 carries last year by himself. Does that mean that Alabama's looking for a starting running back to come in? Right? Dead serious. AK Deer, right? 19 for 140. Guy never played. Everybody called for him. Remember that time where he like posted something and we thought like it was time for AK Deer? He never played. He played against Eastern Illinois and then we never saw him again. Hopefully we see more of him. I liked what I saw from him against Louisiana Monroe. And then everybody, look, and we go back and forth about this all the time because I constantly ask you, you think Crowell could start for 2026? Right? Is the starter, can you imagine the situation? You get Hollywood Smothers over here and you got Xavier Crowell. Is that like your 1-2 combo? What happens to Daniel Hill? What happens to Riley? What happens to AK Deer? It kind of seems like the odd man out might be AK Deer. Tough man, what's up, man? Welcome to becoming a fan funder. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate your guys' support more than ever as we get away from the college football season. Seriously, like January, February, all the way to August, I need your support. I really do. I'm very open with that. So thank you so much for your consideration. You got Trayshawn Brown as well. He signed it. And Dano's like, if the same staff is here, what difference does it make? Great point. Great point, okay? Because that alludes to my next slide, okay? After Crowell, let me just look at this, okay? Fam, look, I'm being honest with you about the Alabama running game. If you're a running back, look at this. Look at this graphic. Yo, right? Bama ranked 15th out of 16 teams in the SEC. But besides that, fam, you know where they ranked nationally, 120 or below. I mean, they entered the game against Indiana ranked 118 in the run game. All right. Miller had, check this out, fam. This is the craziest stat, okay? Jam Miller had 504 yards, and I get it. He was banged up, but still, he was the leading rusher on the team, okay? He had 504 yards, okay? I tried to look it up to when that was the lowest total for an Alabama running back. I went back all the way to 2004 to where I have like access to stats, and I couldn't find that number. This 504, if anybody could find that, please let me know. When was the last time that Alabama had a running back run for less than 504? Okay? And then when you bring up these other stats, look at the last couple of games. Versus Indiana, 23. Now, you have to understand that quarterback sacks go against this, but it's still unacceptable. 23 yards in the Rose Bowl, 28 yards against Oklahoma, -3 against Georgia. Look at that. It's pitiful, and I think people are out there and be like, man, you're being so, this is it's too negative. No, this is the truth. This is the honest truth. They haven't had a running back, and this is another stat that I tie in together. What's up, Patriot Live? Good to see you, bro. And this is another stat that I really tie together. No 1,000-yard back since 2021. Okay. When was the last time Alabama reached the national championship? (2021). When was the last time they won the national championship? 2020, when Najee ran for 1,400 yards. You see what I'm saying? So from 2020, if you drew a graph, and I can do it very easy, it goes like this. It goes down. I'll show you the graphic. I'll make it. And you're getting further and further away from running the ball. And it's weird because you know what, fam? You're getting further and further away from 2020. Thank you so much. Okay, this is crazy. Chance, I appreciate you, bro. So Chance has it 1990 when Chris Anderson had 492 yards. That isn't that mind-blowing? Man, that is crazy. 1990. That's almost 13,000 days. Right? Is that right? That is crazy. That's 36 years. That is 36 years? Is that right? Holy cow, bro. You just blew my mind. It's been 36 years. 504. That's crazy. All right, sorry I got off track. So, I guess I ask you, this bottom part right here, okay? Does Alabama, do they want to run the ball? Do they want to commit to Hollywood Smothers and be like, yo, we have you here. We're going to run the ball? Because that's the first question. If I'm Hollywood, I'm like, man, what do my touches look like here? Because when I look to the other running backs and the distribution that they got this past year, nobody got fed. Nobody. So that's kind of the interesting thing with the running back. And I bring that up is because, like, yeah, I'm excited about Hollywood too. I turned on his highlight tapes and I was like, oh, fine, let's get him. He's good. Run the ball. But you can clearly see when you have a player, even like Xavier Crowell, who we're so excited about. And welcome, Kevin. I appreciate you as an ultimate fan funder. Thank you so much, bro. Really appreciate that. You got this guy coming in, and I think our hopes and dreams for Xavier Crowell were like, man, this guy has it. All-purpose back, big, imposing. His high school highlight tape is ridiculous. And there's a lot of us on here, even me, that feel Xavier Crowell could start or get serious playing time. But will they commit to running the ball? And can they with the offensive line? Right? Ryan Harris, what's up, bro? Good to see you. No, Gibbs didn't run for 1,000 yards. I think he ran for like 926. That sucks for him. They could have gave him like 80 yards more, right? But the thing about Jahmyr Gibbs is while he was exceptional here, he got so much better when he went to the NFL. Same thing with like a player like Jalen Hurts, right? He wasn't developed yet, and now you see where he's at now compared to when he was at here. But yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs was great here for 100%, but like now I would say he's the best running back in the NFL. Right? And this is another great point. Look, Dano says the Seahawks got immediately better when they went away from Grubb. And look, they're playing tonight against the San Francisco 49ers for the number 1 seed. By the way, where are my Niners fans at? We got to get this done, right? So that, are we excited about bringing in Hollywood? Hell yeah. Come on, bro. But we got to be able to commit to running the ball. And like I said, I'm going to take some calls today. And if you've been heavy on the phone line, if you called in a couple different times, maybe ease off today and let some new callers call in so we can get a good mix of callers to call through, okay? I would appreciate that. Plus, as I've said on Wake Up Bama, I'm going to start blending some calls on the back end of the podcast, which I think is a cool addition. Kind of stretch out that podcast because I know a lot of you guys, the feedback that I've gotten from you is like, yo, I love the 35-minute podcast or whatever, but we'd like some added volume on that because I'm at work or whatever. So we're going to try that, and I really appreciate it. Open to all the feedback. Okay, so that's where we are on running the ball. Yo, dang, dog, thank you so much. Yo, 87 what's up with the $50 super chat. Thank you so much, man. That goes hard in the paint. Yeah, and I appreciate that. You know how much I put in to all these shows, and I want to make sure that you guys have the most updated information, clean graphics, transparent. I want to be honest with you. I want to, talk about what needs to be talked about. And right now, I think the biggest thing with Alabama is the commitment to running the football. And how can they do that? Better offensive line play, better offensive coordinator philosophy, better running backs, right? And gets uncomfortable. But, man, look, the further you get away from running the football, I strongly believe. Do you agree with this? The further that you get away from running the ball, the further you get away from winning a championship. That's how I feel. As I mentioned, you can also hit that join button to become a fan funder of Bama football on YouTube, different levels. I appreciate you guys' continued support and consideration. And thanks for that 50 spot, dog. I appreciate that, man. Okay. Cam Coleman. All right. Who thinks this is realistic inside the comment box? Do you think that Cam Coleman coming to Bama is realistic? Look, he's coming on Wednesday. I think that is big in itself. He wouldn't be coming to entertain Bama if Bama really wasn't in the mix, okay? Now, the last stuff that I have seen is it looks heavy Texas. Texas needs wide receivers. Texas has Arch Manning. Texas has Steve Sarkisian. Texas has money. So does Alabama. We have spent on wide receivers. I'm not going to lie. Like, We've given money to our receivers, and I think we have a little bit more because of the whole Jalen Mbakwe. So we do have probably, let's call it cap space. Isn't that crazy? We have cap room. I don't know if we have cap room for Cam Coleman. I don't. I think it's going to be interesting to bring him in. He would be a day one starter. He would be an impact player. The guy is, you're getting an NFL wide receiver, okay? Like automatically, whoever gets him. He had a case of the drops against Alabama and Auburn. You know all about him. 2025, 56 catches, 780. And then these bottom two bullet points made $1 million at Auburn and could cost up to $4 million. If you're spending wisely, I don't know if you go all in for $4 million, right? And let's face it, you need to make sure that Lazier Brooks comes on board and is re-signed, which I'm sure he is. Sedarian Morgan's here. I'm sure he wasn't cheap. Ryan Williams, we continue to invest in him and to believe in him, and hopefully, he comes back with a monster junior year campaign. Isaiah Horton, I don't know um, if Isaiah Horton comes up. I've updated this graphic, by the way, to showcase the two players in the portal, and I removed Jeremy Bernard. So if we were to play a game like this weekend, like today, these would be your wide receivers. And I think I've been. Someone said inside the comment box that I don't talk about Derek Meadows enough. Well, first of all, I really like Derek Meadows' size, and the thing that I learned about Derek Meadows is he has a lot of shiftiness for somebody who is 6'5". Sometimes you get someone of that size and they don't have a lot of side to side mobility. He does. He spot played a little bit this year, but not a lot of volume to really talk about because he didn't play that much. I think in due time, he could be a guy. I mean, think of a 6'5" wide receiver. Yo, absolutely, right? Lazier Brooks came in with that same class, and we saw a lot of Lazier Brooks, and he's going to be a very, you know what? Making sure Lazier Brooks is re-signed and obtained or however they need to do that might be, this is crazy, might be as important as, like a Cam Coleman. Lazier Brooks is that guy. He is great. And Sedarian Morgan, we hope that he can be the guy that we think he could be. You think about Xavier Crowell coming in Sedarian Morgan, I think these two guys are ready to go. I don't think it'll take them a lot of time to get acclimated. I think they'll just be ready to go because of their physical stature and just them being ready to play college football. And by the way, Patriot Life has upgraded to a live show sponsor. Thank you, Patriot Life. Always in the corner since day one, dog. 100%, man. Thank you. You're a real one, man, through and through. Right? Michael Formby says, I'll be shocked if Rico Scott doesn't portal out. Yeah, kind of me too. Unfortunately, man, and I love Rico Scott. I like the fact that, man, the guy's got a really good build to him, right? About 200 pounds. Man, he's got huge pipes, fast. He ran like 23 miles an hour. It just didn't seem like they were able to utilize him. And he kind of might seem like the odd man out, unfortunately. I hope he stays. I hope they can use him. And let me know, before I leave from the wide receiver slide, do you think that Isaiah Horton comes back? Freeing up that cap space or whatever for like a Jalen Mbakwe, you might have room to keep Isaiah Horton. I don't know if Isaiah Horton is like rounds 1, 2, or 3 in the NFL draft, right? I that's one of the ones I'm kind of going back and forth on. Is Isaiah Horton. Isaiah Horton's good. Big Matt, what's up, man? I see you inside the comment box. Good morning to you as well. Yeah, Dano, I appreciate that, man. So who knows? Oh, man, End Time says, yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the compliments, man. Do you think resources may be better suited for offensive linemen? Yeah. Yes, I do. Because even with the offensive linemen that you did bring in, I don't feel, because you signed 5 linemen, right? Four guys out of high school and 1 guy from the junior college ranks. In my personal opinion, I still don't feel like you have a guy that can come in and be a day one starter. I think you need to spend, like if Bama had like so much cap space, I would go in with the best tackle, period. And also use some money to retain Parker Brailsford, because then you would get Parker Brailsford, Wilcom Formby, Michael Carroll. Those are 3 guys. You bring in another stellar guy, and you hope somebody from the development crew rises up, right? Like a Jackson Lloyd. You hope that like a Jackson Lloyd has a breakthrough. Now I'm thinking about it. Who's going to be the guards next year? Wilcom Formby and who? That's kind of scary to think about. I didn't even think about that. So Cam Coleman, look, coming in this Wednesday, it is positive that you're getting it in. Is it a pipe dream? It kind of looks like it, and I don't know, like, financially, if it makes sense. I'd rather go $2 million to 2 tackles or, like, to a tackle and a guard, to be honest. Because I think, look, I know this guy had a case of the drops, whatever. You bring this guy in, maybe you get, like, a Malcolm Simmons. So I think you're fine at wide receiver, to be honest. I think you just need offensive linemen. We've looked at Coach Kalen DeBoer before, right? And we continue to ask kind of about like the extension and if he should be paid a little bit more. I don't know. Those are decisions for Greg Byrne. And you know what? I think Rex said that we should go away from the bowl games and just say put this as a postseason record, because then that puts him at 1-2, right? He won a playoff game and lost 2 bowl games. Maybe that's the way that we should do it. 1-2 in postseason. I actually like that point out. Sorry that I keep slipping down over here. This camera that I have, it does this like auto tracking. So sometimes it just, because I do talk with my hands. Okay, let's see what else I got on here. Just kind of, I've showed this graphic a couple times on Ryan Grubb. And just like you guys were pointing out before, with the Seattle Seahawks, they finished 28th of 32 teams in the NFL. 95 yards per game. It's been the same exact thing here at Alabama. I think the common denominator is Ryan Grubb, to be honest, okay? Fam, I'm about to take your calls. As I said, if you've called in a couple times, maybe give it a rest today so we can get some new volume in. And I appreciate that. This video is powered by Sleeper. Get a $100 deposit up to a $100 match. Use the promo code, which is Tailgate. When you download the app, you just get $20 upon the entry. It's perfect time to make your more or less picks for tonight's San Francisco 49ers game as they take on the Seattle Seahawks. Hopefully the Niners roll and they get that number 1 seed, as they have been absolutely playing out of their mind. All right, we got a new called-in graphic, by the way. Yeah. Hey, do you guys like this? It looks clean, right? You like it? I took off kind of like the trending topics because you know what the topics are, and it's your show. Do we like this graphic? Thumbs up. I like it. And I think depending on kind of the comment size, it should fit nicely right here. I'm always like tinkering with different things. The show's never completed, right? You know, I call this show the like La Sagrada Familia. Like it's never going to be completed. It's an ongoing, piece of work, right? All right. Let's see how it looks with the $5 super chat. Oh yeah, it looks clean. Since the spring portal window was removed, does that mean we will have a legit spring game back? No. The spring game is gone. I'm not happy about that. I like the spring game. I think it gave 2 things, okay? And I'll take your calls after I make this point. 2 things about the spring game. I like the spring game. I liked it from a fan perspective because it brought fans together. It was like a celebration, a great kickoff. Like people love to come in and build camaraderie, and I think it kind of just you rallied around the team. It was a time for fellowship. It was Alabama fans. Look, not everybody, let's face it, can afford to pay for tickets, so it gives you a free opportunity to see the team, and you build up community. Camaraderie, you get to tailgate. It's just a great time, right? It's in the springtime. It's not as busy. You can go. You make a day out of it. It's beautiful in Tuscaloosa. So taking that away, I feel, and plus you get to see the competition on the field. You get to see the 2 quarterbacks battle it out. I loved watching Jalen Hurts and Tua go at it. I know they were meaningless stats, but I loved it. So you take that away, and I think spring football will turn into something else. I think it'll go kind of more towards NFL, like OTAs, which I think will be better for the coaches. They'll have more practice time, but I think it kind of takes that game away and it takes like the fan away as well. But you do get Morgan Wallen, who's coming to Tuscaloosa. I'm a Morgan Wallen fan, so that'll be cool, right? But yeah, no, I don't think there'll be a spring football game anymore. That's it. But I liked it, right? Did you guys like it? It was a time, like, I looked forward to it. I circled it on my calendar, and I was like, it's going to be a beautiful day to meet people, to hang out, and just celebrate Alabama football. And I think they've taken that away. And that's actually, I don't think that's good for Coach Kalen DeBoer and the staff. I think that gives you a time to showcase yourself. It was always on ESPN. It was a great branding opportunity. So, anyways. All right, we go to the phone lines. We got a 210 calling in today. Hey, welcome to the show.
Kyle.
Yeah.
Hey, Kyle, this is Old Rock Guy.
Hey, what's up, Old Rock Guy? I appreciate hearing from you, man. Happy Saturday. Come with it, bro.
Happy New Year to you. Listen, let me just say this. All this crap about firing DeBoer, all of you just shut up about it, okay? It ain't happening, and who would you go get?
Yeah.
Okay, at this time of year, you ain't going to get anybody. You ain't going to get a replacement for any of the key places. But it all starts with the O-line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you don't get up, this guy's had 2 years, what's his name, Cap, that came from Baylor,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he ain't done squat, okay? So which tells me, one, he doesn't know how to judge talent, okay? And having a bunch of 300-pound lard asses that can't move anybody, which is the case, including our supposedly first-round or left tackle,
Mm-hmm.
we're not going to go anywhere. Why is it everybody in this country can block and run the ball and we can't? Just look at Indiana. We outweigh them by 30 pounds per person, and yet they can run the ball. So look at Justice Hayes, left Alabama. What did he do at Michigan? He had a great year until he
Mm-hmm.
got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, you start with the O-line coach, and I've been a big DeBoer backer,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm a little disappointed that he didn't fire Cap as soon as he got back to Tuscaloosa. That's where it starts right there.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point, and a lot of people have been talking about that, about Coach Kapilovic, as you said, who's been here, because I think you realistically, and you're absolutely right, you're not getting rid of Coach Kalen DeBoer, a million percent, okay? And then the other thing is, you're not getting rid of Ryan Grubb. As frustrating as it is, you can't get rid of him, okay, right now. So you kind of go down the totem pole. What can you control right now, and who's had time to kind of prove themselves, and who hasn't proven themselves, and that's the offensive line play. And that comes from that particular coach, in our opinion, which is Coach Kapilovic, who really wasn't a part of that DeBoer, kind of squad. It was really Scott Huff, remember? Where did Scott Huff, did he go? I think he went back to the NFL, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, Kapilovic's had some time to prove that he can work with Jaden Roberts, Wilcom Formby. Have we really seen that much improvement and development from even like a player like Wilcom Formby? I don't know. They had to move him to guard, right? So
yeah, well, I'll give you a good example, dude. Let's all go look back. Everybody, most of us that follow what's going on in the team, remember Brockemeyer?
Yep.
The kid stuck with us just like Ty did. And he was going to be the starter, but because of DeBoer's loyalty to Brailsford, who was a good center in the Pac-12, came down. He saw he was going to lose his job. I want all of you, I challenge all of you to go watch the Ohio State game and watch Brockemeyer. He destroyed the center of that line consistently all day. And if and that's where it starts. If you can't run up the middle, you ain't running nowhere.
Yeah.
And that's because they have an O-line coach that knows talent. And not only can't Cap develop, he obviously doesn't have a talent for figuring out what it is we need to win in the SEC.
Mm. Anything else you got, old rock guy?
No, man, you're doing a great job. Keep it up. This is the first time I've called in.
Yeah.
I like to see what the other people say, but stop with all the firing all these other people and focus on where we need help at, and that's the O-line coach.
Yep. All right, man. Good call. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, I'm on where I'm at right now is I feel like there does need to be changes with the coaching staff. I don't know whatever that means, but not with Coach Kalen DeBoer. I get it, and things are still hot after the Rose Bowl, and that wasn't embarrassing. But like old rock guy said, there might have been a time where you could look at other coaches or whatever, but if you can't do that now. Plus, like if you really zoom out, you took a step forward, and every single time you take a step forward, and I know it was humiliating to lose like that, it was a step forward. It was a big opportunity, but now you kind of can reassess. You see what you have coming back, and we have more data points with Coach Kalen DeBoer, right? All right, we go back to the phone lines, and we have a 240.
Hey, Kyle. This is Andy G. up in Western Maryland. How are you?
What's up, Andy G? I appreciate it. Happy Saturday.
Hey, happy Saturday to you. I haven't been able to get through for a week and a half, man. Your business is growing. That's great to see.
Thank you.
I got a couple points I jotted down here so we can get other people on the line. All right. But did you get a hint in Coach DeBoer's press conference after the game that he was making a point that there has to be some internal changes?
Yeah.
Did you catch that?
Yeah, there was one quote, I can't think about it off the top of my head, but it did make my ears perk up. I'm good at kind of reading between the lines, and there was I have to go back to listen to it. Does anybody else remember what he particularly said? Go ahead, Andy G. Continue.
anyway, it gave me the inclination that he was going to make some coaching changes, whether it was specialty coaches like O-line, D-line, what have you, not necessarily Coach Grubb.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I think we need to quit worrying about Cam Coleman, and we ought to be thinking about Chaz Coleman because he's got Micah Parsons written all over him coming out of Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
He's an edge rusher, and we don't have it. Don't know if you'd considered that because that kid's good.
No, I hadn't had him on my radar. I think at least from my perspective, the way that I'm seeing things, Andy, is I like Yanzi. I like Quay. I don't know what they'll do with Quay. You bring back Keon Keeley. You bring back Jordan Renaud. I'm glad to see that they have their eyes on an inside linebacker because after these guys leave, there's nobody with experience. Not to say that those guys aren't good. It's just there's no experience there. And those are the areas that if they address that, they pretty much return everybody else, right? The secondary, we're still waiting on like announcements from Keon Sabb and Bray Hubbard. By the way, do you think either one of those guys comes back, Keon Sabb or Bray Hubbard?
Not sure about Bray. I
Right.
don't think Sabb's gonna, but I tell you the truth, I don't think that's a big loss if he don't. That's just my personal opinion.
That's Sabb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we got to look for dogs on this O-line. We got our asses whipped by a bunch of 3-stars that knew how to play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a whole different mentality. You know,
Yeah,
we don't have.
Yeah, and what happened to like what was going on with like Jaden Roberts and kind of like even Cody who called in yesterday, he was like talking about like he wants to see just like those straight up killers that you had on the offensive line, and I kind of rewind, I guess however long it was ago, the mentality that like a Landon Dickerson had. Even like a Bradley Bozeman,
Exactly.
like, an Alex Leatherwood, like there, it seemed to mean like there was a different mentality with those guys on the offensive line than where we're at right now.
I totally agree because I had even jotted that down. We don't have any Bosemans. We don't have any Ross Pierce Bakers, right? Mm-hmm. They weren't 5-stars coming out, but they had that dog mentality.
Yeah.
Let me put it to you this way. Way back, even when I was at school, we used to get a magazine called Stat. Okay, and in there was an article about somebody everybody knows. You remember Taylor Lewan?
Mm-hmm.
Played at Michigan.
Yep.
He's in the NFL for what? He just retired, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he made a quote in there, and he said, "Look, my job as an offensive lineman is to take the guy in front of me and move him from point A to point B against his will."
Yep.
Fortunately, that's my favorite thing to do. That's what we got to have.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we got to have, and we don't have it. But I'm not that impressed with Parker Brailsford. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people might be high on him, but I'm not.
Do you think, Andy, let me ask you a question, because I've been thinking about that too with Parker. I am a Parker Brailsford guy, by the way. But I do have to ask this. On like that 4th and 1, do you think because he is undersized for that position, do you think that that's maybe why they're trying to do something like add a wildcat and go away from the center, like where as opposed to like in the NFL you can do a tush push because your center is much larger? I don't know. I can't get over that play. But do you think sometimes in 4th and 1 they struggle sometimes because Parker is undersized?
There's got to be some reason, so I think that's a legitimate point.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, if we had intuitive players, when you look at that play, did Daniel Hill have the option to give that Bernard or to keep that ball? Because if you look at that film, if Hill would have held it back, he had 50 yards of green grass around the right side because everybody was pulling. The defense all reacted to the left when Bernard was in motion. If he'd have kept that ball, he'd have had a 35, 40-yard run.
I would have just, if I was Daniel Hill, I'd say, you know what, I'm sorry, Grubb, but I'm lining up under center and we're doing a tush push. I'm sorry. Line up and just run it. It was just ridiculous. Anyways, Andy G, I appreciate the call, man. Thanks for calling in, and call again next time, man. Enjoyed the dialogue.
All right, brother. Enjoy the show.
Yeah, man. Take it easy. All right, 256, you're up. Hey, good morning. I appreciate you calling in. Yeah, welcome to the show. Who am I on line with and where are you calling in from?
Good morning, Kyle. It's Justin from Oxford.
Hey, Justin, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Happy Saturday. Come with it.
Happy Saturday, brother. You probably don't remember, I called in a couple of weeks ago, and I just want to tell you again, I really appreciate your grind and providing us the content you do on a daily basis. It's really great to be able to interact with people.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And that was kind of always my goal too, is because I grew up, we all grew up watching like Chris Berman or Stuart Scott. And I was like, man, imagine if you could like call in to talk to those guys, or if they would like give you a shout out on the show. Like, not to say that I'm anywhere like those guys, but I just thought like, wow, it would be cool to interact with the community and kind of have that feedback to where, it doesn't have to be just my way. Like, you guys make points and I retract and I go with you guys from time to time, because it's good to have kind of that back and forth dialogue. With that said, Justin, come with it, man, and welcome to the show.
Kyle, the first caller you had sort of kind of stole my thunder a little bit, that I kind of wanted to talk about on topic with the inability to run the ball, the issues with the offensive line. Everybody right now is torching Grubb over that particular issue. And I want to make a point that, the run plays Grubb has been calling this season. This is nothing new. These are running plays that, our team uses. Other teams use the same running plays, inside zone, outside zone, duo. I mean, this is just same teams across college football are running the same run plays. This is, not like he has some very unique set of running plays that only he uses. So the inability to run the football, in my opinion, being a former player that played offensive line, is directly on the shoulders of the offensive line coach. He's responsible for teaching technique, teaching you the footwork that's needed to make the plays, to make the blocks that you need to make in order for the plays to be successful. Our offensive coordinator said this, and I've even heard Nick Saban say the same thing. The plays called will work as long as the players execute those plays. It comes down to not executing the plays that are being called. And that falls on the offensive line shoulders for not making the right blocks. Poor footwork, poor technique, all that falls on the offensive line coach. Mm-hmm. And, one other point I wanted to point out was to kind of back up my point here. If you look at the 2023 Washington football team, which Grubb was the coach of, the offensive coordinator of, that team rushed for 2,200 yards combined.
Yep.
They threw for about 3,500 yards. Mm-hmm. That's pretty good balance.
Yeah.
Especially when you had a quarterback like Penix and you had those elite wide receivers. Mm-hmm. Obviously you're going to get chunk yards with playmakers like they've got. Obviously we've got playmakers like they had too. But the rushing, Alabama has only rushed for a combined total of 1,500 yards this year.
Yeah.
And also, we're talking about the fourth down play. Mm-hmm. Every play call that's called by Grubb goes through the headset of Coach DeBoer. Mm-hmm. He hears every play that's being called. Mm-hmm. And if he doesn't agree with what they called, then he should interject. Because essentially, this is a version of his offense that Grubb calls. Am I not wrong there?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, I feel like we're giving Grubb a little more heat than – I'm not saying he's totally off the hook here, mm-hmm. but if you go back and look at the Georgia game, look at the level of execution the offense was running during that game. They were executing at almost a flawless level. The third down conversions. Mm-hmm. The line was doing everything right.
You got anything else, Justin?
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll answer on the other line, man.
What your thoughts are.
Okay, man. Take it easy, bro. All right. Good call,
Thanks, man.
Justin. I appreciate it, bro. Thanks for calling in, man. Yeah, we've got a good rotation, as I said earlier today too. And we'll take the next call. But if you're like a frequent caller, maybe give it a rest today so we can get like some different callers in just for a different volume. But 417, we'll take you next. Yeah, I don't know. I see what Justin was saying regarding Ryan Grubb. And he's kind of pointing to the offensive line, and a lot of people have been going at Kapilovic. I think that this has been probably one of the most challenging times in trying to figure out what was the key root of the problem with the running game. And for me personally, that's why I go back to Grubb, because I see the same thing that happened at Seattle. But like Justin was saying, he was like, well, before that, he had 1,200-yard running back, and he had Michael Penix, who threw for almost 4,000 yards. It was really good balance. But for whatever reason, it might be like he forgot, or he's kind of going away from the run. I don't know. But the one thing also that really sold me this year was hearing Mike McDonald, the Seahawks coach. If you heard that podcast, it sounded 1,000,000% like he was ripping on Grubb. So I've kind of, after that, I was like, yep, that's it. But I know a lot of people calling right now for Coach Kapilovic. So we'll see what happens. We'll take, I think we got Timothy calling in. Timothy, what's up, bro?
Hello, what's up, Kyle? Happy Saturday.
Yeah, happy Saturday, bro. Come with it. Where you still in Texas? I know it could take like 3 days to drive through Texas. You in Texas?
Yeah, I'm outside of Fort Worth. Yeah, I'm outside of Fort Worth right now.
Gotcha.
I'm in like a little weird right now, so it's kind of weird out here, to be honest.
Well, come with it, bro. Welcome to the show, man.
I appreciate it, man. I'm thinking about what the last caller said. I agree 100%. I know I said for Ryan Grubb to be fired last night. I want to see what Ryan Grubb does with a good offensive line coach, because I agree with what the last caller said. Ryan Grubb was like, Nick Saban wanted him because of what he did at Washington, and Washington had a 1,200-yard running back in Dylan Johnson and a 700-yard running back and their backup.
Yeah,
that was because Scott Huff was the offensive line coach. If we had Scott Huff, we would not be scoring 3 points against Indiana. Our they won the best offensive line award in 2023 because of Ryan Grubb and Scott Huff. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I want to give Grubb one more year, just with a better offensive line coach, because with that offensive line, ain't no one – you can't protect anybody back there.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say just get a better offensive line coach. Heck, he's at the Rams right now as a tight ends coach. See if you can poach him. Be like, hey, dude, we'll offer you $2 million to come to Alabama for 1 year. Just for 1 year, just to run it back with the guys and get Xavier Crowell in here, and let's just see how it goes out. See if it's like Washington in 2023.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to say, Kyle. I don't want to spend too much time, but I just feel like I was too hard on Grubb. He made some really bad calls, but he's made some really good ones, especially fourth down. But that one was just the worst one I've ever seen. But yeah, Kyle, I just wanted to tell you that. Like, I want to give him one more chance, but with a better offensive line coach.
Gotcha, bro. Thanks for calling in, man. Be safe on the road as always.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, man. Yeah, Timothy calling from somewhere in Texas. 251. Hey, thanks for calling in. Good morning. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hi, I'm Taryn, man. I'm calling from Daphne.
Hey, what's up, man? I appreciate you calling in, man. There's a little bit of audio feedback on the background. I don't know. It sounds like a TV or something like that.
Yeah, y'all. I'm good now.
All right, cool, man. Welcome to the show,
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah, man. It was disappointing to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It was very disappointing to watch the game. I feel like Eric, like the other caller was saying, yeah, we definitely need a new O-line coach because that's not Alabama football.
Mm-hmm.
You know, back in the day, we used to run the ball, and that's how we tied defenses. Just by running,
yes. Yep.
running the ball, you know.
Mm-hmm.
See, what made it different with Jalen Milroe when he was at quarterback was he can use his legs, so them look 5-6 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Once he get past a linebacker, he gone.
Yeah.
So I feel like we need we need a better offensive line coach, and we need players that actually want to, got that grit in them, that actually want to play like the high towers, the high towers that we used to have. This is the type of players that I think that we need there. Like next year, I think if we get an O-line coach that actually, know the techniques of football, I think we'll be great. And all about this firing coach, the boy, nah. He's a good coach. You see what he did at Washington when he took him to the championship and everything.
And plus,
So
I think like also like regarding like your DeBoer point, the SEC is absolutely is crazy. It's a Shark Tank, and it trips me out that in the second year he was able to get to the SEC without like a mid, if that, offensive line. I don't think the running backs were as good as we thought they were going to be. And the offensive coordinator, I think Grubb he's still trying to figure things out, and I don't know what's going on with him. But 7-1 through the regular season in SEC play is crazy work, because the SEC is the best the SEC's ever been collectively, like head to toe, right? All the teams are good pretty much. So yeah, and the recruiting has still been good. I mean, the recruiting has been fantastic. So got to keep that up. Anything else that you got, man?
I don't think I can say next year we'll be back.
Yeah.
We'll be back next year, back and better than was this year.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, good call. I appreciate you joining the program, bro. Take it easy, man, and have a good Saturday.
All right, you too now.
All right, man. All right, another 251.
Hey, what's up, Kyle?
What's up, man?
Hey, oh, man, just enjoying this new year. Look, I hear everybody talking about the run game, and I don't know if it's been talked about. I kind of joined the show a little bit late. But you look at Parker Brailsford, man. He was 6'3", 275 pounds, very athletic, O-lineman, and that guy was by far, our best O-lineman all year. And if you look at that, Bama has those kind of road grader type, big body guys that have done great in the past, but they kind of wear it down easy, right? So if you look at, he's in the Pac-12. He had the 1,300-yard rusher because he was playing weaker competition. I really don't buy into that, man. I think when we get those athletic O-linemen that can kind of hang in there, hang around, I think you're going to see a big change in the run game. How you feel about that?
Yeah, man. I mean, you know me. I sometimes I'm considered too optimistic, and maybe the run game comes back. It's just that stat floored me that I was talking about earlier today. This is the lowest amount of yards that our leading running back has had since 1990. Back when isn't that crazy? That's 36 years ago. So that's a number.
Yeah.
And like I was saying, the further you get, like the data shows this. The last time Alabama played in 2021 for the title, they ran for 1,000 yards. They had a 1,000-yard running back. All the years that they've went away from that, they haven't reached the national championship. So it's like, is that a coincidence, or did look? I get it. You don't have a Brian Robinson on this team. You don't have a Najee Harris on this team. But still, I don't think you committed to running the ball. And like Indiana. I have to say, I miss on things. I didn't realize how good their running backs were. And when Cignetti was saying that he wanted to commit to running the ball and that wore you down by the third quarter, it gave me chills because it sounded like Coach Saban.
Yeah. No, man, you got a great point. I mean, if you look at it, it's not even just Bama, right? If you say, look at any team, like pretty much the power forward, like they could get something out of the run game. You're telling me Bama couldn't get anything out of the run game? It's like, I know that's kind of hard to wrap our head around, and I'm just trying to look at the positive side of it because it really was just abysmal, right? Like, I mean, it was truly like, a terrible year running the ball. So, and Grubb said at one point, well, I've tried everything I could to, get us to run the ball. And it's like, but how are these other teams that, again, teams that are like, 8-4, 7-5, even they have guys that can freaking run the ball. So it doesn't seem that complicated to us. I'm just hanging my hat on the fact that, like, whether it be the O-line coach that I know he was let go, it sounds like, on the inside a few months ago. I don't know. There's something there, though, that's like we should be able to get more than at least the top 60, right? Like top 50, we're 120th. Like that's just not Bama, right? So I don't know. I feel like get the O lineman in here, right? I did hear something about, I'm not gonna give a reason why, but like this was probably Grubb's only year, right? For other reasons not involving football, I'll just leave it at that. But regardless, no matter who's in here, who we get, who we got, if we're not in the top 50, top 40, I don't think a national champion has ever been crowned not having, a run game in the top 50 or whatever. So until you get that going, forget about it. I mean, I think the offense otherwise is great, but you got to get something there, man. So that's how I feel about it, man. I appreciate the time here on the call.
Yeah, man. All right, man. Take it easy. I appreciate the call, man. Thank you so much. I see. It looks like we have Angel and someone else inside the comment box. I'm going to stop here because we got the Alabama basketball game, which is about to start. I think this is a good stopping point, probably that 1 hour. So, I want to give you guys a heads up. I'm experimenting with the Wake Up Bama podcast. I'm always experimenting with stuff. So you'll get your normal podcast on Sunday, but I'll also cut probably a portion of the calls from today's program and put that on the back end. So you have a little bit more of an extended podcast because that is some of the feedback that I've got is a lot of people like a little bit more extended on the podcast. And I think since we have the variety of the call-ins, I think it works out well. So if I didn't get your calls today, don't hold it against me. Just call in next time and we'll wrap and, we'll have a good time. But Alabama basketball is on right now. Turn it on. They're taking on Kentucky. And I think what we'll do too is we kind of get deeper into the SEC. We might bring back the watch-alongs for Alabama basketball and, kind of have those as part of it. But there's so many games, and sometimes they play so late. So that's another thing that is on my brain. But and like I said, I can only serve like one master, so like I go all football. But I do love and respect the basketball team. So I definitely like to bring that coverage over as well. And in fact, on tomorrow's podcast, I'll probably give you my feedback and takeaways from Alabama basketball and Kentucky. So thank you so much for kicking it with me right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your Saturday. And as news happens, I promise you, I got you covered with the video right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Run the thumbs up. Think about becoming a fan funder on Bama Football on YouTube. And thank you very much for the super chats and all of your continued support as we can continue to kick it through 2026 right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Stay blessed, stay where your feet are at, and enjoy your beautiful life. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Kyle Henderson of Bama Football.